You came into my life when I had nothing. You stayed when life became hard. You loved me when nobody believed in me. I don't want to spend another day without you, but will you marry me?
Yes, I will! I must ensure to tear them down. How dare they enjoy being in love when I should be the one getting that ring? I will tear them apart. Their love cannot thrive while I am not noticed by Michael. Just watch as I destroy their happiness. They will pay for flaunting their love everywhere.
Everybody thought Michael and Funmi were the definition of true love, until a single wedding gift turned their dream marriage into a nightmare nobody saw coming. Back in their undergraduate days, Michael and Funmi were the couple everybody talked about. Anywhere you saw Michael, Funmi was there. Lecture hall, cafeteria, school fellowship, even at the campus football field, the two lovers moved together like soulmates tied by destiny. People admired them. Girls secretly wished they had a man like Michael. Boys prayed for a woman as calm and beautiful as Funmi. Their chemistry was impossible to ignore. Whenever they entered a place together, heads turned instantly. Even lecturers knew them. "See lovebirds don't come again," students would tease whenever they walked past. But Michael and Funmi never cared. Their love was pure. Or at least, that was what everyone believed. What nobody knew was that behind the smiles and congratulations, danger was already growing silently around them. Because while many people loved their relationship, some secretly hated it. Michael had female admirers who couldn't stand seeing him committed to one woman. Funmi also had men who once tried to date her, but failed badly. Some friends smiled with them publicly, but cried bitterly in private. Some people prayed for their happiness, others prayed for their downfall. And among all those smiling faces hiding dark intentions, one person was waiting patiently for the perfect moment to strike. 5 years passed like 5 days. Their love only grew stronger. No scandals, no breakup, no cheating rumors, no toxic fights. Whenever people argued that true love no longer existed, someone would simply say, "What of Michael and Funmi?" And immediately, everywhere would go silent. Their relationship became an example people used during relationship talks. Even both families had already accepted each other long ago. At this point, marriage was no longer a question. It was only a matter of time. Then one evening, Michael decided to do something unforgettable. He invited Funmi out for dinner at a beautiful rooftop restaurant in Lagos. Funmi had no idea what was waiting for her. The night breeze blew softly. The city lights sparkled around them. Soft music played in the background. Everything looked normal. Until suddenly, the lights went dim. Funmi looked confused. Then she heard voices singing softly behind her. She turned around and froze. Michael stood there, holding flowers with tears already forming in his eyes. Behind him were their close friends holding candles. Funmi covered her mouth in shock. Michael slowly went on one knee. The entire restaurant became silent. Even strangers brought out their phones to record the moment. "Funmi," Michael said emotionally, "you came into my life when I had nothing. You stayed when life became hard. You loved me when nobody believed in me. I don't want to spend another day without you beside me.
Will you marry me?
Will you marry me?"
Yes!
Funmi
yes, I
burst into
will.
tears immediately. The crowd screamed excitedly, "Say yes! Say yes! Say yes!" Funmi nodded repeatedly while crying, Yes, yes, Michael, I will marry you." The entire place exploded with celebration. People clapped loudly. Some women even cried emotionally. Michael placed the ring on her finger and hugged her tightly while cameras flashed everywhere. That proposal video spread online like wildfire. Within days, everybody was talking about them again. Couple goals! True love still exists. Now this kind marriage we want. Comments flooded social media. But hidden among the thousands of congratulatory messages was one person watching quietly with bitterness burning deep inside their heart. A longtime friend, someone very close to them, someone who smiled around them every single day, but secretly wished their love would crash forever. Soon, wedding preparations began fully. Both families spared no expense. Tailors worked day and night sewing beautiful outfits. Friends travelled from different states. The excitement was everywhere. Funmi's bridal shower became the talk of the town. Michael's bachelor party was filled with laughter and celebration. Everything felt perfect. And finally, the wedding day arrived. The church was magnificent. Flowers decorated every corner beautifully. The music choir sang like angels. Guests arrived dressed in expensive native attires and glamorous outfits. The atmosphere was filled with joy. When Funmi entered the church in her stunning white gown, everybody stood up in admiration. Michael couldn't stop staring at her. Tears filled his eyes again. "She's so beautiful," he whispered emotionally. The pastor joined their hands together. The vows were exchanged sincerely. Promises of forever echoed through the church. And when the pastor finally said, "You may kiss your bride," the entire congregation erupted with celebration. It was a wedding nobody would forget. Or so they thought. At the reception hall, music blasted loudly as guests danced happily. Food and drinks flowed endlessly. Money sprayed everywhere. Laughter filled the air. Then it was time for gift presentation. One after another, guests lined up carrying different gifts. Televisions, kitchen appliances, furniture, envelopes filled with money. The couple smiled happily while receiving each one, completely unaware that among those gifts was the beginning of their destruction. One particular gift caught Funmi's attention immediately. A medium-sized golden box wrapped beautifully with shining silver ribbons. There was no name attached to it. "Who bought this one?" Funmi asked curiously. Nobody seemed to know. Michael laughed softly. Maybe secret admirer. Everyone laughed. Little did they know that hidden inside that beautiful box was something evil. Something carefully prepared. Something sent with a mission. After the glamorous wedding ended, guests slowly departed one after another. Families hugged emotionally. Friends took final pictures. Then finally, Michael and Funmi returned to their new home together as husband and wife. Exhausted, but extremely happy. That night, they sat on the floor, surrounded by dozens of gifts. Excitement filled the room. "Let's open this one first." No, open that big one." They laughed like children while unwrapping gift after gift. Then suddenly, Funmi picked up the golden box. "This one still looks special," she smiled. Michael carefully opened it, and immediately, both of them gasped. Inside the box was the most beautiful wall clock they had ever seen. It glittered with shining stones around the edges. Elegant, classy, expensive looking. The clock looked almost hypnotizing. "Wow," Funmi whispered. "This is beautiful." Michael nodded in admiration. "This might actually be the best gift here," Without suspecting anything evil, they happily admired the clock for several minutes. But unknown to them, that clock carried darkness. A darkness planted by someone they trusted deeply. The next morning, Michael carefully hung the wall clock in their sitting room. The glittering stones reflected beautifully against the wall. Visitors who came around admired it instantly. "Where did you buy this clock? It's so beautiful." Funmi smiled proudly each time. But there was something strange. Something neither of them noticed. Whenever nobody was looking, the clock ticked backwards. Slowly. Silently. And with every backward movement, their destiny moved backwards too. At first, nothing seemed wrong. Life continued normally. Michael resumed work. Funmi settled into married life happily. But after some weeks, little strange things began happening. One morning, Michael missed an important meeting because the clock showed the wrong time. He blamed himself. Another day, Funmi arrived late for an interview opportunity she had prepared for months. Again, the clock showed incorrect timing. "This clock, Seth," Michael complained while adjusting it manually. Funmi laughed carelessly. "It probably needs battery replacement." But even after changing batteries, the problem continued. Sometimes the clock slowed down. Sometimes it moved too fast. Sometimes it completely stopped. Yet moments later, it worked normally again. Still, they ignored the warning signs. Until the real problems began. Michael suddenly lost a major business contract unexpectedly. A promotion Funmi almost secured disappeared mysteriously. Money started entering their hands and disappearing immediately. Misunderstandings began growing between them for no reason. Little arguments became serious fights. Peace vanished gradually from their home. Then came the worst part. Every plan they made started failing. It was as if invisible hands kept dragging them backwards. Michael became frustrated constantly. Funmi cried almost every night. Their once admired love story slowly transformed into pain. And the strange thing was, everything started after that wedding gift entered their house. One night, during a heavy rainfall, Funmi woke up suddenly. Tick, tick, tick. The sound of the wall clock echoed loudly through the dark sitting room. Something felt wrong. Very wrong. She slowly stepped out of the bedroom. The entire house was dark, except for flashes of lightning from outside. Then suddenly, she froze. The wall clock was moving backwards. Fast. Very fast. Funmi's heart almost stopped. She rubbed her eyes in fear. No. Impossible. The clock hands spun backwards aggressively, like something possessed. Then immediately, the clock stopped completely. Silence. Funmi screamed loudly. Michael rushed out immediately. What happened? With trembling hands, Funmi pointed at the wall clock. It moved backwards. Michael looked confused. What are you saying? It was spinning backwards. Michael stared at the clock carefully. Everything looked normal again. He sighed tiredly. Maybe you're stressed. But deep down, even Michael himself had started feeling something was terribly wrong inside the house. The next few weeks became worse. Michael lost his job completely. Funmi's small business crashed suddenly. Bills piled up endlessly. The couple that once inspired everybody now struggled daily. Friends stopped calling frequently. Family members began asking uncomfortable questions. Tension filled their home. Then one afternoon, an elderly woman visited unexpectedly. The woman was Michael's distant aunt from the village. The moment she entered the sitting room, her face changed instantly. She stared directly at the wall clock. "What is that thing doing here?" she asked fearfully. Michael and Funmi exchanged confused glances. "It's our wedding gift," Funmi replied. The old woman moved closer slowly. Then she touched the clock gently. Immediately, her hand jerked back violently. "This thing is evil." Silence filled the room. Michael laughed nervously. "Auntie, please don't start." But the woman interrupted sharply. This clock was made for destruction. Fear entered Funmi's body instantly. The old woman explained that some people use gifted objects to transfer spiritual attacks into homes. And this one, she said slowly while staring at the clock, was sent to move your lives backwards. Michael felt coldness run through his spine. Suddenly, everything started making sense. The failed opportunities, the endless bad luck, the constant confusion, the backward movement. Funmi burst into tears immediately. "Who would do this to us?" The old woman looked at both of them seriously. "Someone very close to you." That statement hit harder than thunder. A close friend? Someone from the wedding? Someone they trusted? Who? That night, Michael removed the wall clock from the wall immediately. But something shocking happened. The moment he touched it, the clock began ticking backwards again. Violently. Tick, tick, tick. The lights inside the house started flickering. Funmi screamed in fear. Michael almost dropped the clock. Then suddenly, the glass on the clock cracked by itself. And from inside the clock, a folded piece of paper dropped onto the floor. Michael picked it up slowly. His hands trembled. Then he opened it. And what he saw there changed everything forever. Because written boldly inside was a message containing the name of the person who sent the gift. The same person they trusted. The same person who danced at their wedding. The same person who smiled in all their wedding pictures. Their closest friend. And at that exact moment, Michael realized something terrifying. The greatest enemies are not always strangers. Sometimes, they are the people clapping the loudest at your wedding. If this story shocked you, then you need to share this video right now, because somebody out there is smiling with their enemies without knowing it. Like this video, subscribe, and type "I reject backwardness" in the comment section before watching another video.